We have Gideon Maasland from MVRDV. I hope Gideon is getting on here. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey Gideon, we're going to switch a little bit into the program because the guys from Shop Architects are having a little bit of difficulties to get into the our main stage, but we will make it happen. So it's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Good to be here. It's nice to share some knowledge, to share some ideas with different people in these difficult circumstances.
Yeah, it's crazy timing. So the single question that I ask everybody: where are you from? Because everybody is located in different kind of countries, but I guess you are in the same country as I am.
Yeah. I'm sitting in Rotterdam. I went specifically for this to our head office to sit with a different background than at home with the kids running around.
That's good. Well, I will give you the stage so we don't lose too much time. So let's give it a shot.
Yeah, now it should work.
Yeah, now I can. Yes, now it's working. Yeah, there it is.
Brilliant. Okay, there we go. I have 10 minutes, so I need to speed up with my 99 slides. This is where our difficult name is coming from, MVRDV. And I would like to talk about the future cities, or better yet, the future of cities. Quite a hot topic currently. And what we see is that there's this anxiety that the cities are eating all the green and that it's like a monster that is slowly taking over everything. And this monster is autonomous, is very frightening. This is real, this is not Photoshop. No, this is made in Asia. And it doesn't matter if the previous one, Hong Kong, if you look there or you look in different cities, because everywhere they look more or less the same. And not only on the outside, strangely enough, also on the inside, they look very much the same. And then if you start to talk to people, like how do you imagine your house, then you always get like a sketch of a house with the pitched roof and a tree and a car and a dog and everything. And yeah, it doesn't fit. No, so yeah, a nice illustration. Can we stack that dream? In 2000, we already stacked for the Expo. We stacked all the Dutch landscapes. So in a short time, you could have a journey around all different things that we have to offer here in the Netherlands. And once we made a competition entry to stack all things needed for the Olympics here in Rotterdam. So how do we do this? We do a lot of research, and I brought one of them, Porosity, it's called. And we do this at the Y factory, connected to the Technical University of Delft. And to understand porosity, first you need to understand what is the counterpart, and that is solid. What is solidness? It is rigid, it is monotonous, it is generic, repetitive. No, it segregates, it's a bit like this, no? Everything looks a bit the same. It has something, and then you extrude 60, 70 times, and then all of a sudden you have a building. And we started to do this research with Lego. And if you look at a basic tower, general basic tower, it looks like this. And then if you change two of the Lego stones, you get this. And all of a sudden now, when I ask somebody like, where would you want to live? I can already pinpoint at least two locations, because it's either in the thing or on top, if you like a bigger terrace. But something happens here at this small point. And porosity for us is about light, it's about views, it's about social integration, it's about the human scale, it is about sustainability, about literally everything that we would like to have when we make this sketch of the house. And from all the possible combinations, if you have two pieces of Lego, if you have all of these different possibilities, why do we always end up with this one? No, isn't there something better we can do? And then we started to study. So we have the basic tower has 0 porosity, and then you can get all kinds of different scales and different types. So these are different types, and within the type, you can have a step story. So it is a bit like how far, as a developer or as a client, you want to go. No, are you super ambitious? Do you need to do a lot? Do you have enough cash to work with this? And you can imagine all these kind of different things, and they introduce a scale, a human scale. They introduce diversity, green terraces. And this one I like a lot. No, it's like a tower with a pregnant belly, incredibly beautiful. And all these different concepts with their different scales, they make this almost like an army. No, it looks even nicer than the terracotta army in China. And we have built these with students, all from Lego, where we got 1 million pieces donated. And you see all kinds of different possibilities. And here's the very polite bending tower. You see the different variants of the pregnant one. And then it was like, okay, can we do that smarter, less intuitive, but more research driven? And then we started to use scripting. And we said like, there are a couple of parameters that you can work with. And if you focus, for example, on the stairs, there's this whole script behind it. And can you then make something like this? If the structure works and that kind of stuff, and you get almost this San Gimignano-like Italian villages in your tower. And it generates plazas and spaces where you can meet, green, you have privacy, you have scale. They're big. We got again for this second round. We got again a big donation from Lego. If you have other parts that you find more interesting, let's say you are much more a fan of landscapes, then all of a sudden the parameters change, because that's about daylight, sunlight, reflection, all of that kind of stuff, generating completely different scripts and different outputs. And you get almost grotto-like spaces where you can really see and feel how it works. And in the end, we made 12 huge towers, all with a different concept, but all from the same base. How can we make it more human, more open, more porous, more social, more interactive? And it generates fantastic different types of looking at this plain, boring office tower. And it depends a bit. Sometimes you have perhaps a little bit less money, and there's a certain amount that you agree with your client, like, here you can work with this, you can do something. In the end, 9 of them survived and made it here to the Centre Pompidou. They bought it. A bit of pity that it is now that it left the country, but also an honor to be there. But what about technology? Because this looks like a nice dream, and everybody says like, yeah, nice, but let's move on to really making something. And then we pushed the scripting to the next level, and we said like, what kind of items can we analyze? Daylight, sunlight, terraces, views. And one of the very important ones, structure. And you can give them values, and then you can measure the output. And based on that, you can make a rough cost estimation. And so if this is the default tower, you know how many beams it has, what the profile width is, how much kilos of steel are there. And you of course, understand that if you make this polite movement in your tower, that the structural engineer needs to start working. And definitely you understand that if you push it all the way, then he really, really needs to go there. But as a next step, we feel that this is really getting somewhere. And if you then look outside of the traditional way of construction, and for example, you look at the bones of birds, very interesting because they need to be very strong, but very lightweight, because if they're too heavy, they don't fly. And they have this 3D structure that it has exactly the bone at that position where it's needed. If you combine that with the current techniques that are being developed about 3D printing, you end up at amazing things. And this is from the ETH in Zurich, where they did several tests with that, where they used the concrete exactly at the spot where it was needed. You get these kind of molds by itself, a piece of art. And you see that it's like a big jigsaw puzzle being made. And you get these fantastic results where you, for free, you get this kind of fantastic ceiling. So still, no, nice theory. What about the reality? How does it work in the reality? No, already 10 years ago in Madrid, we tried this. We flipped the courtyard block upside down, and we tried to make here a publicly accessible square where you can overlook that part of Madrid, where these kind of small Italian streets with staircases and a completely different atmosphere are being used to really pinpoint several of the apartments. This is Albania, where we try to also put on a completely different level, different scale, more individuality there, more terraces, a bit more modest. This is a bit more free, where you see that also these terraces, the green plays an important role. Mind the scale here. This is Shenzhen, where we won a headquarters, and I like this image because it exactly shows the difference of what we want to do. Apart from these huge extrusions, some of them are 500 meters high. Our tower that we have here is 350 meters. So each volume is already a huge building by itself. No, this is bigger than the market hall in Rotterdam. But we pinpoint this exactly to, no, here's a hotel and a general space inside, fit to the program. We try to integrate different scales, different openness, different views. This is going to be a reality. This is under construction in The Hague in the Netherlands. No, here you get this negotiation with the client to see where is the money and how far can we get at this stage. So here it is only the top where we could do that, but it's a small start. It's a careful thing. Another building here in Rotterdam that we are working on, trying to make this facade become more individual, more attractive. So some people like double high spaces, some people like more horizontality. And for all of these human scales and these human interactions and these personal preferences, there is a place. And last, I want to show you Valley. It's a project that is under construction now in Amsterdam, in the Central Business District. And exactly here, we are at the pivoting point between all the standard office buildings and the housing. And we have the first 7 layers are offices, and on top of that is housing. And what we did is we made this one block, and that has this super corporate, shiny facade. And then on the inside, we carved out all the stuff that we didn't need, generating this rock, this place, these terraces, this fantastic parts, where you see the different possibilities. You see personal scale. You see, of course, that there are specials, and they need to have a tree, of course, on top of this. And we worked with the parametric model, and I think from Shop, the colleague is going to talk a bit more on that. I wanted to connect, but we do it in the other way around, where you can have a look at the amount of sun hours, not a lot, not too much because of the sun load. The terrace check, even simple things as a daylight check, then turn out to be super complicated here. Also that we solved with the script, and then you get all different types of possibilities, where in the end you still need to do like a manual check and a manually decide, like, yeah, okay, I'm going to push and pull. No, here in this case, for example, there's too little sunlight, and we do it there. We made this mock-up. We worked fantastically with the contractor to make all kinds of crazy patterns. And I was on site this morning. This is a picture literally of this morning with a bit grayish sky. And in a week we will have highest point. And yeah, it is really like a promising first step on how we see the future cities and the future of the cities. And we have this dream that the balcony is more than simply 2 chairs. It needs to be this place where you can really relax, like in a garden, only then in the city. And that we have this dream that on a day where there's very little wind, all of a sudden everybody gets his barbecue and we get this huge smoke signal to the rest of the world. And we say, hey people, this is Valley. This is the next step in the evolution of the city. Thank you. That was my part of the lecture.
Yeah, that is amazing, Gideon. Thank you very much. I drive a couple of times next to the valley, and it looks awesome. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So when we are allowed to meet each other again, and would like to go there one time with you and to tell me more about that amazing building, because it looks fascinating.
Absolutely. Let's do so.